Welcome back to another fabulous episode of the Reckless Wrench Garage. Today we're going to be replacing some more of the parts that I damaged during the first attempted sending of the Stuburban. As Chris mentioned way back in one of our old videos, one main reason that we picked the King coilovers is because they are 100% rebuildable. You can get every single part for these that you need. As soon as the damage happened and I was over mourning, we got a hold of Filthy Motorsports. They sent us everything we need. It wasn't nearly as bad as I thought for what the damages would cost me. For any of you who know about Filthy Motorsports, you may have heard of Crawlpedia. Great, absolutely phantasmic source of information for shocks, coilovers, bump stops, anything you need to know, which is where they have instructions for fully rebuilding these, if that's what you plan on doing. So we're not actually rebuilding the coilover. All we're doing is replacing the parts that I broke. So the shock shaft is going to be replaced, the rod end is going to be replaced, and that's about the extent of it. Of course, the rod end we're going to put a new bearing and spacers in, and we'll show you that. Alright, to start out, you're going to need a small Allen wrench. I would tell you the size, but I don't know. It's little. You're going to want to take this Allen, and you can either take it all the way out, or you can just back it out most of the way. Or it's like a set screw. Actually, you don't even have to go out most of the way. You just have to get it where it's not contacting. And if you notice, you have two little indentions for some pins for a spanner. In my case, I do not have a spanner that fits that. You can get them, they're not hard to come by, but in the event you don't have one, and you happen to have an oil filter wrench with a strap on it, that's going to come in handy. So, oh geez. We're going to come over here, set this guy in the vise. Now if you use a vise for this, you're not going to be tightening this down. It doesn't take any force. You just want it to where it's not going to be moving around. So don't do anything dumb like crushing the body of this thing.
Yeah. And if you plan on doing this often, they do make a little thing that you can put in there, but we're not rebuilding shocks every day, so.
If you're already at the point where you're doing this often, you're not watching this video.
Oh, look at that.
Bam, look at that.
Dang. That's almost a better design than a spanner wrench.
Right?
Watch, they're gonna make a blue oil filter wrench and put King on it.
Now at this point, you have to get the seal cap and get it pushed down. You can either do it the difficult way and struggle a little bit and try to use your fingers to push down on this, or get yourself a rag, put it on the ground, unless you have a vise set up, and you're going to pump this a couple times, drain your reservoir. There's a little bit of pressure still in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it might take a couple times, but you're creating a vacuum that's gonna suck that seal cap down.
There it goes. Dang, that was awesome. Bam. Look at that.
Just sucks it right down in there. Science. Now if you look right inside your shock body, you're gonna see this snap ring that's inside of here.
Okay.
And just like any snap ring without little ears to grab onto, you're just gonna take a pick or a scribe or whatever you have that'll reach down in there. You want to be careful not to scratch the inside of the body. Ow, I just stabbed myself. You take that snap ring out. Get that out of your way. Don't be like me and have a dirty rag to set things on. And then, this is the part where it could get messy. There it goes.
Bam.
Notice how your fluid's right there at the top?
Oh yeah.
So you want to be very careful as you're pulling it out. With the piston being so far in there, it's displacing the fluid, so it's going to be closer to the top. Don't tip it or anything. You want to try to keep as much fluid as possible if you're not planning on changing the fluid. So just ever so slowly. Don't do that. Alright, set your shock shaft, everything up there. At this point you can do a couple things. You can cover this up, set it off to the side and hope it doesn't fall over. You can dump all your fluid into a cup, like a measuring cup, like such. Or you just have one of these fancy little caps right here. You jam that bad boy on there. That fluid ain't going nowhere.
Oh yeah.
And then you tuck it in the corner, and if it falls down, you ain't gotta worry about it. Now we need to take everything off of this shock shaft, set it the exact way it comes out, and transfer it onto the new shaft. There it goes. Take the nut off the end of your shock shaft. Put that off to the side. You take everything off. Bam. Okay. So your whole shim stack, your piston, everything. Get it off. Set it off to the side. And don't touch it. Now, I'm going to take the shock shaft out of the rod end. I don't have a better way of doing this, so this is what I'm doing. That takes forever. Alright, the only significance behind taking the rod end off of the shock shaft, in my case, was just to show you guys the comparison between a new shock shaft and the one that came off of the Stuburban. It really doesn't look that bad when it's sitting next to it. Okay, that's not true at all. Let's put the ends together this way.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, should a little bit. Take your rod in, take one snap ring, put the snap ring in place. Might take a little bit of finesse once you get it in there. Bueno taco, and position it wherever you want. Okay. Now we're going to take our bearing, get it lined up, grab some sockets, head over to the press. Try not to scratch your fancy anodized pieces. And voila.
Bam.
Now you're going to put everything back on your shock shaft just the same way it came off. Make sure you're putting all of this on facing the right direction. You don't want to get it all together and then come to find out, oh crap, now I got to take it all back apart. Not that I've ever done that before. Seal cap. Freaked me out for a second. I thought I put it on back. Alright, once you get all that on there, you will need red thread locker or Loctite. There's not a torque spec per se. It's snug. Okay, don't go crazy and crank the thing down. Now, if you push this straight down in there, you're going to cause kind of like an air pocket to push that fluid, and it's going to shoot up through the piston. So, if you kind of walk your way down in there, and again, this is where you want to be careful. You create an air pocket. You're going to push this thing back out at your face. Man. What?
I'm just picturing the shock shaft launching at you.
Right? Come on. There it goes. You can hear it in the reservoir.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All you have to do, get that seal cap in there far enough to expose the gap for that snap ring, wherever you're comfortable with putting it in. Back in the vise, use my oil filter wrench to tighten that down. Get that set screw in place, put the springs on, service it, and there you go. You now have a repaired coilover, ready to go sending again. Hopefully not bending.
We want to send, not bend.
Yeah. You know what this is, right? shifter.
Oh yeah, it'll work out nicely.